What if I told you the WTA Finals race has become so tight that one strong week could completely rewrite the standings? With only 14 main draw tournaments remaining before the season-ending showdown, virtually nobody near the top can afford to relax. According to the standings and results in the source material, fewer than 400 points separate the leading 7 players, and nobody has yet reached the projected qualification cutoff. That means every quarter-final, semifinal, injury withdrawal, and early upset could have major consequences. One player can jump several positions in a week, while another can suddenly watch months of work disappear. So who is climbing at exactly the right time? Who is losing ground? And which players could completely shake up the race before the season ends? Let's count it down from number 30 all the way to the new leader. Starting at number 30, Hailey Baptiste finds herself in a difficult position. The American has been sidelined by injury, and at this stage of the season, missing tournaments can be almost as damaging as losing them. Every week represents another opportunity for the players around her to collect points while she can only watch. At number 29 is Sara Bejlek, and her direction is completely different. The Czech has climbed 7 positions after a huge Cincinnati performance, where she stunned Aryna Sabalenka in the round of 16 and collected 215 important race points. That kind of victory can transform a season because it doesn't just add points, it adds confidence. If Bejlek can carry that momentum forward, she could become one of the race's biggest late-season movers. Jasmine Paolini sits at number 28, but injury has complicated her campaign. For a player with enormous expectations, being forced away from competition at this stage is especially painful because the race simply doesn't wait. Maria Sakkari moves up 1 position to number 27 after collecting another 65 points in Cincinnati. It's progress, but the Greek star still needs much deeper tournament runs if she wants to seriously threaten the players higher in the standings. Emma Navarro is number 26 after adding 65 points in Cincinnati. She remains within range of the group ahead, but with fewer opportunities remaining, consistency alone may not be enough. One breakthrough tournament could completely change her position. Jelena Ostapenko stays at number 25 after picking up only 10 points in Cincinnati. Everyone knows how dangerous Ostapenko can be when she finds her range. Her aggressive style can blow opponents off the court, but in a race this competitive, occasional explosions have to become sustained runs. At number 24 is Magda Linette, whose season, according to the source material, has included a remarkable French Open final run as a qualifier. That breakthrough changed the shape of her campaign and demonstrated that she can make serious noise when everything clicks. Anastasia Potapova sits at number 23 with 1,568 points after adding only 10 pulgadas Cincinnati. She now needs a major late-season push to move into genuine qualification contention. Marie Bouzkova climbs to number 22 after earning 110 points in Cincinnati. She's trending in the right direction, but the gap ahead means one good tournament probably won't be enough. She needs several. Elise Mertens slips 2 places to number 21 despite adding 10 points. She remains close to the top 20, but her Cincinnati result made the path forward more difficult. Anna Kalinskaya holds number 20 after collecting 65 points. She's still very much in the conversation, but with challengers closing from behind, every match is becoming more valuable. Then we reach Amanda Anisimova at number 19. And she's moving in the opposite direction, up. Her Cincinnati quarterfinal delivered 215 points and pushed her 2 places higher. Suddenly, Anisimova looks like someone capable of making a serious late-season charge. At number 18, Naomi Osaka drops 2 positions after missing Cincinnati because of fatigue. Osaka's experience makes her impossible to count out, but the calendar is becoming increasingly unforgiving. When you miss a tournament, everybody else gets an opportunity to move while you stand still. Madison Keys moves up 2 spots after earning 215 points with a Cincinnati quarter-final appearance. Keys has the kind of aggressive hardcore game that can produce major points quickly, making her especially dangerous during this part of the season. At number 16 is 18-year-old Iva Jovic, who moves up one position after adding 65 Cincinnati points. She may be young, but she's already positioned herself among players with far more tour experience, and that alone makes her one of the most intriguing names to watch. Then comes number 15, Alex Eala, and this is where Filipino tennis fans will be paying very close attention. According to the source, 2026 has become Eala's true breakthrough season. Her Berlin run included victories over Elena Rybakina and Elena Svitolina before she reached the semifinals. At Wimbledon, she made history by advancing to the round of 16. Then came another milestone at the Mubadala City DC Open, where she captured her first WTA 500 title. Put those performances together, and Eala suddenly finds herself within striking distance of an even bigger goal, breaking into the race's top 10 before the season is over. That won't be easy. The players ahead of her have serious experience and plenty of opportunities remaining, but Eala has already shown this year that she can beat established names and make deep tournament runs. Heading toward the US Open, she becomes one of the biggest wild cards in this entire race. A deep run in New York could change everything. Belinda Bencic drops one position to number 14 after earning only 10 points in Cincinnati. She remains close enough to make a move, but the margin for error is shrinking. Sorana Cesti climbs to number 13 after adding 120 points in Cincinnati. The Romanian has quietly positioned herself for a late push, and the source also highlights her Cluj-Napoca title earlier this season as evidence that she can still produce championship-level tennis. Diana Schneider stays number 12 after collecting 120 points. She can see the top 10 from where she stands, but getting there will likely require something bigger than steady results. She needs a tournament where she goes deep and takes a major chunk of points. Victoria Mboko is number 11, sitting painfully close to the top 10, although injury has currently sidelined the Canadian. Her Adelaide and Doha finals earlier this season showed why she belongs in this conversation, but health could determine how much further she can climb. And then we reach number 10, Iga Swiatek. According to the source, Swiatek returned to the top 10 after winning Toronto and continued fighting through Cincinnati, where a walkover against Rybakina sent her into the semifinals. When a player with Swiatek's ability starts building momentum, everyone above her has to pay attention. At number 9 is Marta Kostyuk, who earned 215 points in Cincinnati. Her season already includes a WTA 1000 title in Madrid, and that tells you exactly how dangerous she becomes when momentum starts rolling. Number 8 is Linda Noskova, and her situation is unique. As the reigning Wimbledon champion in the source material, she could potentially benefit from the WTA Finals qualification provision connected to a reigning Grand Slam champion if she finishes within the relevant ranking range. She also captured Berlin earlier in the season, making 2026 a true breakout year. And now we arrive at the top 7, where things become absolutely wild. Coco Gauff sits number 7. The American is fighting to stay inside that elite qualification group, and her Miami Open final earlier this season showed how quickly she can collect major points when her game catches fire. With the margins this small, one big tournament could send Gauff flying upward. At number 6 is Karolina Muchova, who surged after reaching the Wimbledon final. That result dramatically strengthened her position, but injury has now interrupted her momentum. In a race this close, being sidelined at exactly the wrong time could prove costly. Elena Svitolina is number 5 after one of her strongest seasons, highlighted in the source by an Italian Open title and a Toronto semifinal. Her consistency has kept her near the top even as the standings around her continue changing. Number 4 belongs to Jessica Pegula. Her Cincinnati semifinal brought another 390 points and moved her into serious contention near the very top. Pegula's consistency has always been one of her greatest strengths, and in a race where one bad week can create chaos, reliability becomes incredibly valuable. Now comes the top 3, and this is where the standings have been completely flipped. Mira Andreeva sits at number 3 after previously reaching the top of the race. The French Open champion had built an incredible season, but weaker results in Toronto followed by a difficult Cincinnati appearance against Marta Kostyuk cost her valuable ground. Even more incredible, according to the source standings, she sits only 1 point behind Aryna Sabalenka. 1 point. After an entire season of tournaments, travel, victories, losses, and pressure, the difference between second and third can come down to a single point. Sabalenka is number 2 after previously leading the race. Her season started in spectacular fashion with titles in Brisbane, Indian Wells, and Miami, putting her in command early. But Cincinnati changed the momentum when Sarah Bijlek stunned her in the round of 16. That defeat opened the door, and somebody walked straight through it. That somebody is Elena Rybakina. According to the source material, Rybakina has climbed from third to number 1 after a huge season featuring an Australian Open triumph, a Stuttgart title, and a run to the Toronto final. Those performances pushed her past both Sabalenka and Andreeva and placed her on top of the race. But just when it looked like Rybakina had seized control, another twist arrived. The source says she suffered an ankle injury in Cincinnati against Iga Swiatek, creating uncertainty around her US Open campaign. And that changes everything again. The woman who just climbed to number 1 may suddenly find herself trying to protect that position while recovering physically, and the 6 players directly behind her know an opportunity could be opening. That is why this race is so fascinating right now. Nobody has truly escaped. Rybakina may be number 1 today, but Sabalenka and Andreeva are right there. Pegula is charging. Svitolina has been remarkably consistent. Muchova's health could determine whether she remains in the fight. Gauff is sitting 7th with plenty of points still available. And outside that group, players like Swiatek, Kostyuk, Noskova, Mboko, Snyder, and Eala are looking upward and seeing opportunity. For Filipino fans, Eala's position at number 15 might be especially intriguing. A top 10 finish would require another major surge, and nothing is guaranteed, but after everything she has already accomplished in the season described by the source, dismissing that possibility would be premature. The US Open could become the tournament that separates contenders from everybody else. Grand Slam points can completely transform a race, and one unexpected second-week run could send someone flying up these standings. So now the pressure shifts to New York. Can Rybakina hold on to number 1? Can Sabalenka reclaim the lead? Can Andreeva respond after losing momentum? Could Gauff make a late charge? And perhaps the biggest question for Eala fans, can the Filipino rising star turn her breakthrough season into a top 10 finish before the year is over? The race isn't settled. If anything, it's only getting started. And with every tournament from here carrying enormous consequences, one upset could change the entire picture overnight.